Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another episode of Bug Rock of the Week. Today I'll be showing you 20 surprising Minecraft bugs that you probably never noticed. When flying with the elytra, parrots on your shoulder just kind of like float way above you, as you can see there. I don't know what they're supposed to do in this situation, but I don't think they should do that. And it even works, of course, when you're like actually flying as well. So if you want some kind of haunted, spooky parrots, this is the way to do things. Sometimes they'll just randomly fly off when you are flying, as you can see there. And you know what? The best way to deal with this is just let them teleport to you. There's a weird bug where azalea leaves of any type will prevent saplings from growing, and all sapling types, no matter the configuration, as you can see, these guys just do not grow. So of course this affects the flowering leaves and the regular leaves too. As you can see, it just does not bone meal no matter what. Now, as you can see, the azalea do not care if they are underneath regular leaves of any type. They will grow straight through those. So azalea doesn't have any issue growing at all, no matter what leaves are around. It's the saplings of any type that care about azalea leaves being around. So why does this bug actually matter? Because in azalea tree farms, you of course end up with a lot of azalea leaves all around. And if you want to use this farm for other sapling types, you actually have to come in here and manually break all of these different azalea leaves in order for your trees to grow, which is a really strange thing. As you can see, once we break all the leaves, the tree basically instantly grows. Surprisingly enough, there is another bug of azalea leaves because they are just not coated like regular leaves. As you can see, ravagers cannot break azalea leaves of any type, whereas they can break regular leaves perfectly fine with no issue. So the azalea leaves just are not programmed like the other leaves in the game. Azalea leaves do share one commonality with regular leaves, and that is they are completely raid spawn proof. So you can still use azalea leaves in your raid farms, and your ravagers will never be able to break them, which means in theory you could build your entire raid farm just out of leaves. I would not recommend doing this in the slightest, because as soon as this bug with ravagers breaking azalea leaves is removed, then your entire raid farm is going to completely fall apart. There's some slight inconsistencies with the texture of structure blocks, so if you control pick block these things, you will get a different structure block in your inventory with different amounts of data. And if you place these down, they all have different textures and different data, but as you can see, these textures do not get represented on the hotbar or in your hand. Now, they used to show up in the hand, but the hotbar texture would be different, so that was slightly buggy. But as you can see, when you place these down, they have a completely different texture than they do in the inventory. If these textures actually carried across to the inventory, that would make organizing them so much easier, because as you can tell right now, literally all of these look exactly the same, and you can't tell what any of them do. And of course, when you place them down, they also flash another texture for like one frame, as you can see if I slow down the video, and this happens with all of the different structure block varieties. Now, this is just a standard, like regular structure block with no data, and even that one flashes the different texture as well. So slight weirdness with the textures of structure blocks. There's another bug with structure blocks where if you leave the area and then come back, the wireframe around the structure block can actually disappear. So as you can see, we teleported away and came back, and the wireframe has actually disappeared. A slightly strange bug, and the wireframe will come back if you actually interact with the structure block. There's a small bug with dispensers facing directly into target blocks. No matter what you do, this dispenser will never be able to activate this target block. So if we put some snowballs in there, we can power this as much as we want, and that will never get an output through the system. And we can also put some arrows in here as well. And as you can see, even though the arrows are hitting the side of the target block, or even going inside of it, it's not sending any output through the system. Now, if you replicate this on Java Edition, this system does work with snowballs. You'll actually get an output. However, it does not work with arrows, so the bug is slightly present on Java Edition as well. Okay, this next bug is a little bit hard to demonstrate, but basically, if you're trying to use rockets in the negative coordinates of the end dimension, do not fly straight upwards, because your rockets will not work that well. So with 1.18, you actually can use rockets in the negative coordinates of the end dimension, so it is possible to save yourself from the void damage now, which is fantastic. But with this, you do not want to fly directly straight upwards. So as you can see, we're at -30. if I try and fly straight upwards, we barely fly upwards at all. We have to really spam the rockets. Whereas if you're above 0, then it only takes 1 rocket to go up like, you know, 40, 50 blocks. To demonstrate that a little bit better, as you can see, our coordinates are barely increasing at all unless we like really spam the rockets, so keep that in mind. While I'm here, ender pearls also work all the way down to -18 as well, so we can throw these at any high angle that we want to try and legitimately escape the void with a nice ender pearl clutch, and as soon as you go down to about -19, then you can't really throw them anymore. If you've played on any Bedrock dedicated servers, then you probably know about this one, but whenever there is a server restart, basically you get kicked from the game, and then you have to restart your entire Minecraft client in order to rejoin the server again. It's a really annoying thing, and it happens basically every single time the server restarts. Sometimes you get lucky and you can rejoin immediately, but most times you have to restart your Minecraft. Among the variety of other boat-related bugs is the fact that you can no longer stand on your boat, so if you exit your boat, you can stand on it for like a second, and then you just fall right through it. It's rather weird. It didn't used to be like this, and it's just kind of an annoying bug. It's really easy to demonstrate just by putting it on the shoreline. You can stand on it for like literally a second, and then you just fall through for no apparent reason. So apparently you can activate your elytra while on a horse? Question mark. I don't know how this happened, but it's kind of bad, isn't it? Am I still on the horse? What happened here? The things that you find while recording a Bug Rock episode. This happens literally every single time I try to record one of these videos. I always find something weird that I did not intend to find. On Bedrock Edition, there's a variety of issues with the locate command, such as the locate temple command giving you coordinates for a witch hut. And this is not really an isolated case either. It doesn't help that there isn't even a command to find witch huts in the first place, and we're missing several other different types of structures from the locate command too. Overall, it's rather silly. There's a lot of different issues with it, and it just appears to be very broken in a variety of ways. And don't even get me started about the locate biome command. That stuff just straight up doesn't exist. There's a very peculiar bug that has to do with exploring your world during an autosave, and this bug can cause certain things to fail to generate, such as chests inside of a desert temple or a jungle temple, and a variety of other issues as well. Now, this is a very niche bug that shouldn't infect you unless you're like zigzagging across your world exploring terrain, but it can happen. So if you notice missing chests somewhere, that's because of this super niche generation bug. This is a bug that you don't notice until it really affects you, but if you have anti-aliasing of 1 in your video settings, then you might just crash on startup and not really be able to load Minecraft. Now, you can fix this bug by changing your options.txt file. This one might not specifically be considered a bug, however, it is actually a pretty useful tip to remember and recognize. So, shipwrecks, along with multiple other structures in the game, generate in a near perfect grid. So, if you pay attention to the ocean floor, you can find one shipwreck and then go in a cardinal direction, and you'll probably find another one in a very short amount of time. Or you can find 3 ocean monuments all in a line like this one right here. And here's an image from Liara where you can see like 16 or something different shipwrecks all in a perfect grid around one little island. Honestly, it's pretty fun, so if you remember this while exploring, you can find a lot more structures. I don't have an Xbox One to demonstrate this bug, however, Xbox One cannot join any form of LAN games. So typically, you would be able to join a LAN game for free without Xbox Live, but nowadays you need Xbox Live, and you can't even see the details or anything about how to connect to a LAN game via Xbox. And this really limits the amount of local multiplayer that you can take advantage of on Bedrock Edition. I've been playing Bedrock Edition for years and I never noticed this one, but if you hold an enchanted item, the enchantment glint is all pixelated. For example, you can see that every square lights up individually. It doesn't happen on our chest plate, for example. If we go over to Java Edition, you'll notice that the chest plate on the right side is very smooth. All the animations and lighting up of things is super smooth, and that also applies to the chest plate that we're wearing as well. This is a super subtle bug that you almost definitely did not notice. I'm sorry to curse you with this information, because even the tools and weapons are pixelated, whereas on Java Edition, they're all smooth and nice and clean. Bedrock Edition is missing a couple of different particles when you attack something. For example, we're missing the heart particles to show that things take damage, and we're also missing the little blue-green square particles to show that you're attacking something with sharpness. So if we head over to Java Edition for a moment, we can demonstrate these. First of all, we have the heart particles to show that this thing is taking damage, and then if we hit it with a sharpness sword, you can see those little blue-green particles around the mob as well. These are very minor little bugs, but they're pretty much something that you would never notice unless you are a hardcore Java person, and then you move over to Bedrock Edition. Bedrock Edition also has the incorrect particles for thrown healing and harming potions. As you can see, they're basically little spirals. On Java Edition, if we throw these, they're little crosses, and they actually look a little bit nicer on Java Edition, not gonna lie. Never would have realized that these particles were different between platforms, but here we are, they are, for some reason. If you enjoyed today's video, then consider leaving a like on the video. It's the best way to support the video and the channel as well, and thank you so much for doing that. If you're new here, then consider subscribing. You'll be helping us reach 500,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that as well, and I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.